are these all the victims tonight? Hey, is anybody back from our last concert? Oh, yeah, okay. So, we should have you teach everybody then. Okay, well let's get started because every minute wasted is right. So my name's Dave Schroeder. I'm the last time I was here, I was the director of jazz studies at NYU, and somebody made a huge mistake and they made me chair of the entire Department of Music. So to put a jazz guy in that position is crazy. But enough about me. This is about you right now. And everybody has a harmonica, so pull your harmonicas out of the box. Now, good, and just go crazy. This is the best thing. Harmonicas aren't loud. They're not out of tune. So if you think you sound bad, you sound good because everybody will sound like 50 buzzing bees rather than trombones and drums and noise. So just out, the harmonica is interesting because it's the only instrument that you blow and draw, right? So this is really a great instrument. It's kind of a folk instrument because of the way I'll show you how to play a few things. So what does it mean to be a folk instrument? It means that some of the notes aren't there that would you find on a piano. They're missing. So some people figured out a way to find those notes, and we'll talk about that. That's called the blue note. So go ahead, don't be shy. Go ahead and blow and draw. Right, it's very relaxing, very, very relaxed. I feel relaxed. I might fall asleep up here. So here's a couple things. So the harmonica is an old instrument that was created in Europe and Germany, and I don't know how far back, but people like Ben Franklin and somebody here in DC was renowned for always carrying a harmonica. Abe Lincoln always carried a harmonica in his pocket, and so there's all these nicknames for it. Some people called it the pocket pal. Some people called it the blues harp. Some people called it the Mississippi saxophone, and the technical name is the diatonic harmonica because this one is in the key of C. So let me just show you. So just blowing and drawing. And so I have the microphone, I'm in charge. But when you play, this is what made it powerful when blues musicians started playing something other than kind of like a folky song, Stephen Foster. But when the microphone came in, all of a sudden you got this big, and this predated like the rock guitar, electric guitar. So a lot of early blues, Chicago blues music had this powerful harmonica thing happening. And like probably maybe some of you had harmonicas as kids, and you didn't know what to do with them. You kind of went. Okay, and then threw it in a drawer, and it sat there for many, many years. So, but I'll show you a couple things that will maybe help you actually learn the blues. And so one thing is, you can play chords on the harmonica. So if you open your lips a little bit and feel with the tongue, and this is interesting because you have to learn to use your tongue is in a different way. But let me just precursor say, somebody said this is really difficult. And the key is here's a philosophical point. Don't think of this as difficult, but think of it as unfamiliar. And that's really an important point because it's, I can't do this. Well, because you've maybe never done it. So this is actually the easiest instrument. It's so easy, in fact. It's like all these other instruments that you'll see tonight. They take years and years and years to play. It's like, because you have to play in different keys. So for a blues musician, they would get a harmonica in the key of C and learn a couple blues licks. And then instead of having to do the math in a different key, they just get a different harmonica in a different, so it's kind of dumb if you think of it like that. But we're not gonna, but it's good dumb tonight. So let me just hear everybody play. Here, let's hear this. So there's chords you can play, and there's single notes you can play. And I want to hear a single note first. So you hold the harmonica in your left hand between your thumb and your first finger, right? Because then you can hold the microphone like this, and then you can cut the band off like this. But can everybody roll their tongue here? You know what I mean by roll? Some people can't. Some people are genetically predisposed. So it's like, so you want to be able to focus air into each one of those holes. So if you can't do it, you have to do something like called tongue blocking, where you kind of block let air leak between your tongue and the top lip. But for those of you who can roll your tongue, you'll notice that if you're playing it correctly, there's numbers on the top. So if you have it back, the low notes are to the left. So, aha. So let's play, we're just going to play hole number one. It sounds like, so we're not going to play chords, we just play one note with your rolled tongue. It sounds like this. I'm hearing more than one note. All the way to the left. One note. There you go. Right? Buzzing bees, right? So now, if you just slide your harmonica to the left, to the next note, you get the third, and then the fifth, and then the octave. So it's... It's easy, but it takes a little practice, but it's easy. Doesn't take a lot of air. All right, let me ask, is there one person in here that can do this right now? One person? Oh, me? Oh, yeah, okay. Is there two people here? Okay, so that's okay, because now we're going to play chords. So you want to try to blow into at least 3 holes, 1, 2, and 3, and blow. So you get. So now we're going to draw. So this is in the old days, they used to call this a train. So anyway, it's kind of folky, right? So let me say this now. Let me just play. This is the blues. Let me just play for you. You know what happened? I had spaghetti sauce for lunch, and that's... Oh. Okay. We're going to have to deal with this one. Okay. So this is the real deal. No, all the notes don't work. Right? Wow. So you can wow your friends at home. So here's the thing. There's we talk about. You ever hear the term blue note? So what is the blue note? Does anybody know? What? It's a club in New York. Yeah. Okay. So what the blue note is was a note that came from, and handmade instruments in the harmonica back in the Deep South in Reconstruction, and this was an instrument that was inexpensive for poor black kids, and so this was an easier fix than a new trumpet or a flugelhorn or whatever. But they found that there are certain notes are just missing here because this is more of a chordal instrument. So you don't get all the notes from a piano. So they had to find those notes. So if we go to blowhole 3, if you blow number 3, and then draw on number 3, if you're musically inclined, that's a G to a B. It's a major third. But somehow people found another note, which is called the blue note, which is between those two. It's kind of like a B flat. And it sounds like this. And that is why the blues and the music from African America is so important, and that's the crossroads between Western music and blues and jazz, and the difference. So again, it sounds. And you know, how many people have actually been explained that in the past? It's like it's so obvious, and it's in our culture, it's in our blood now for all these hundreds and hundreds of years. But that's the essence. That's the thing that separates them. That's the brilliance of the blues and blues musicians. So can anybody find that note? That's the trick. And the thing is, you have to find it by, and this is the folky part, you have to do it long enough so that you can feel it. And you have to just practice it. So what you're actually doing, you're kind of closing that hole, and it's the drawed note on hole number 3 that you're kind of blocking the air so that it's kind of forcing the sound down, like this. See if you can do that for a second. Let's see if we have any takers. Anybody? Anybody's ready to come up here and play? Okay. Well, it's a good effort. Hold on a second. So we're looking at blowhole number 3, third one, and if you blow, it's a G, and if you draw, it's a B, which is a major third if you're musically inclined. So it sounds like this. But I heard somewhere, but if you cut off the air a little bit, kind of like when you suck in a straw and you kind of pull the straw down. Hold on a second, we have something.
How do you stop the air? With your tongue? You put your tongue on the hole?
Kind of like half the hole, put your tongue on there, and it's kind of like you know when you're drinking a thick shake? Kind of like that. you know, by itself, it sounds kind of like a sick cow, right? But in context, does anybody have it? Anybody have it? No takers? Okay, all right, so in the interest of time, we'll go back and review all this, and then we'll show you how you're going to actually participate in our concert tonight. So, and I just have to ask everybody, is everybody in the musicians union here? Because there's a fee. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the coolest blues lick, and if you do this and take your harmonica to work, you're going to impress your friends. So we're just going to use hole number 3 and hole number 4. And we're not using that music yet. But, so we're doing blow hole 3, blow hole 4, blow hole 3, draw on 3, and back. And that sounds hard, but this is what it sounds like. So it's let's get 3 blow. That's it, that's pretty good. So this is what you do. So you say, I went down to NYU, DC. I learned how to play the harmonica. Okay, now hold on a second. So now if you're spitting too much in your harmonica, you can't. I just saw somebody do it. Take this and tap it on your leg or your hand. Just get the condensation out. So I did kind of warn you. I said, don't eat spaghetti sauce, things like or soda with sugar, because sugar will get in there and it'll seize those reeds up and those certain notes. Never take your harmonica to the beach. That's bad. So now if we add 2 things, it's like we played chords before. So this is how you combine these things. So you're your own band. You're the harmony, you're the melody, and then slowly you start bending notes. And it's that little duet, that's the blues. You got it? Okay. So I mean, if that's all you learned tonight, and then you just sit at home and watch TV and you have your harmonica in your hand, I used to drive my wife crazy doing this. So it's just a coordination, mind coordination, 3, 4, 3, draw, 3. It's mostly 3s with 1, 4. Draw is back. Blow, 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 draw, blow. Yeah, the chord is draw, blow, blow, draw. Now let's try this for a second. Let's just do the chords. So there's two chords, so it's going to be a one chord and a four chord in church music. So the first chord is drawing. So. So you can do that all day. Hey, welcome. So you can do this all day because it's like breathing. So the thing that's cool, let's try to do it like we're in church now. And I'll go bump, bump, bump. Okay? So it's going to be draw, blow, draw. Ready? Okay, but you got to cut off like on the conductor. Boom. So it's bump. No, it's bump, bump, bump. Okay, here we go. That's pretty good. There's a few holders, honors back there. All right, let's see if we can do it one more time with everybody. And so cut off when I tell you to cut off. Uh-oh. All right, we got to get everybody together. Who doesn't understand back there? Okay, all right. All right, stop that. All right, here we go, one more time. Yeah, there you go. All right, this is the harmonica choir that we talked about earlier, or that was advertised. But the thing is, I've actually written a song. So the point of this, the way that I got into teaching everybody harmonica is at NYU, I had great opportunity to travel a lot with this group, which is called Nuvo, which is, I use faculty and students. We travel all over the world, and a lot of times I get to meet little kids, and so I started teaching little kids, and I realized that this was the great communicator. So we've gone to places like Abu Dhabi and Shanghai and as far as Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. And we've played at all these. And there's actually videos and stuff online. If you're interested, I can share those things with you. But it's like we realize that music has a lot more weight sometimes than just pounding your fist and making an argument. So when we developed this music called the One World Suite that we'll start off with tonight, it was about celebrating our beautiful planet with music. And then I realized that, hey, let's finish this suite with having everybody participate. So a couple years ago at NYU, I decided that I was going to write a piece that you have called The Oceans, and that was written for 500 harmonicas. So at the beginning of each semester now, last couple of years, I purchased 500 harmonicas like these from a friend of mine in China, and I go to all my freshman classes, and I teach all the freshmen how to play this song. And then we do this concert in Washington Square Park, and at the last tune, I asked them to whip their harmonicas out, and all of a sudden we have this unity of like buzzing bees and people that can play the song or just blow in their harmonicas, and it creates this unified sound that kind of has great meaning of we all have a voice, and if we use a collective positive voice, we can make a difference, and that's our musical message. So we're going to try that tonight with this song, and I know it's a lot, but don't think of it as difficult. Think of it as unfamiliar, right? So now, this is how I wrote this. So if you don't read music, you can read the numbers above the notes. And there's a blow arrow that goes up and a draw arrow that goes down. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the opposite way. Up is blow. Up is draw, and down is blow. So let me play it for you. This is that song. And so when we play it, it'll be accompanied by the whole band. And let me just play it. Okay? So, what my hope is that we continue to do this, and NYU DC seems to want to sponsor us to come back every semester and perform the suite. And so I want to create an army of harmonica players, and you're in the second wave now. So I want you to. So now you can go to the bottom. There's a oneworldsuite.org website that actually has me showing you how to do this, and there's a background track, and so you can play along with it at home on your computer. And so I want to make this melody popular, so it has meaning for our environment and all these things and blah blah blah. So does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Yes. Well, if you can't roll your tongue, then you place your tongue against your upper lip, but you leave a space, and that's called tongue blocking. It's instead of this, pardon my tongue, it's more like this. So you're leaving a gap. There you go. Does anybody want to try this? This might be a lot, but so it's okay if you can't. We'll try playing part of it. We'll play the first couple of measures. But the whole point tonight is, even if you just play the sound, just blow chords or blow a couple notes, it all sounds harmonious. And it all puts us together as musicians in one room. So it should be fun. And so let's just skip the first note. The first note is draw or up arrow 3. And then let's just work on those notes, because it's just like that other blues, like ba-da-da-da-da, but you're just using 2 notes. You can practice it for a couple minutes. Can we try those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes? Okay, here we go. All right, now we all have to come up individually. But you know what? Something that's funny. But check this out. So last year I came down here and I just taught harmonica to a bunch of schools in the inner city, and there were these kids in the back that were putting their hoodies up, and they're crossing. I ain't doing this. This is stupid. But by the end of the 45 minutes or so, I had each of them come down here and just blow into the microphone. And what happened was it pulled kids from a pack and made them individual. And it scared the hell out of them to come here. but when they did it, they were like, I'm on the team. And so this kid that had the hoodie that was kind of a pain, I saw him at the end, he comes up to me and goes, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And it's like, so, right? So we can do this, and it's easy. This is so easy. I mean, I'm an advocate for arts education and in schools and for little kids, especially because if you don't capture them young, you don't capture them in the arts. And it's like we can twist their vision and say, wow, I can do this. And again, it's not difficult, it's just unfamiliar. So how do we make things familiar? It's like we just have to keep repeating things over and over again. Now, I'm really a saxophone player, but I started playing all these other instruments. When I moved to New York about 30 years ago, I came from, can anybody tell from my accent where I'm from? Where? Not the South, I'm not from Midwest, because there's really not, I might have lost some of the twang I had back then. So I came to New York and going, oh my God, how do I compete with all these other saxophone players? It's all the most famous people in the world. And then I realized, if I start playing other instruments besides the saxophone, and that's what I did. And I was fortunate to meet a chromatic harmonica player named Toots Thielmans, who's like the god of and so, I mean, pretty much all he told me is, he says, don't eat spaghetti sauce. So he wasn't giving it up. But I went to all of his gigs, and I'm very, very, very fortunate to have been the director of jazz studies at NYU because all these musicians live there. So I said, okay, I'm just going to hire all you guys onto my faculty. So I hired people like Lenny White, who played drums with Miles Davis on his classic record, Bitches Brew, or Joe Lovano, who's a great tenor player, or Lenny Pickett from Saturday Night Live, if you know the screaming tenor player, or Billy Drummond, the drummer with Sonny Rollins, or, there's so many. I amassed 50 musicians like that, but all these saxophone players who were super famous that I hired, I'm going, how am I going to compete with these guys? And then I realized, well, I'll play the harmonica, I'll play the flutes, I'll play this, and this, and this. And you'll kind of see that tonight with some of these odd instruments. There's a particular, I should tell you what this is, because when we get into the One World Suite, we're not going to have time to talk about this. Has anybody ever seen this before? Well, no, I brought this from Mongolia. We played with the Mongolia. But when somebody says a ram's horn or shofar, this is the Mongolian version. I call it the shofar show good. So it's not really a shofar, but it is made out of an animal horn. And so I'll play this for you tonight a lot. And what? Oh, it's an antelope. So we traveled there. Lenny Pickett was in my band at the time. And we both picked one up because we played with the National Orchestra of Mongolia, and they had musicians that were playing this and other strange instruments. So it turns out that Lenny never learned how to play it because it was kind of strange. And so it turns out that I'm the only person in the Western Hemisphere or outside of Mongolia that actually plays this instrument. So people call me all the time, where can I get one of those? And I say, it's called the Everbore. The Mongolian Everbore. And actually, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, it's like, Mongolia, who the great, let me put this here. Okay. People say, what does that horn sound like? I said, it's a combination of between Stan Getz and Genghis Khan. So, and this instrument was created because after Genghis Khan, he took over all of Asia and all the way over to Hungary. And the reason they built the Great Wall of China was because of Genghis Khan, keep him out. But after that reign, everybody else took over Mongolia, like the Russians and the Cossacks and the Communists and the Chinese and the Japanese. And So they really lost their culture, and around 1960, people in the country said, let's find our culture, let's create this folkloric orchestra. And they developed that horn from not actually having it as an ancient horn. They saw drawings of it on mosaic tiles and tapestries. And they said, let's recreate it. So they don't really know what it sounded like. So, but the jazz element is that I'm playing it differently than the Mongolians. So, yeah.
It's unrelated, but it's about the blue note.
Okay.
So can you only do the blue note on 3?
No. You can do the blue note on any draw note.
You just have to hit that middle.
You gotta find that. And again, when you do this, think about sucking on a thick shake. Say that 10 times. Sucking on a thick shake.
Like, you know the sound that you heard at the beginning of Rhapsody in Blue?
Yeah.
Is that a blue note? Is that
Well, you know what she's talking about? That's a clarinet player, and his name was Ross Gorman. And Ross Gorman, these early guys from 1920s, he was from the Yiddish tradition. So what you're what I'm told historically, that was 1924. That was actually written as a chromatic scale that you could play on the piano. And this guy gets hired to play it. He goes, let's do it like this. And he threw it in his Yiddish. Okay, let's keep that. So that's kind of a blue note. So, you know, we hear it in many, many cultures. And yeah. So do we have any other questions? Any other thoughts? Are you all consider yourselves harmonica players tonight? You're gonna walk out of here with an attitude. Go to restaurants, don't pay your check. Borrow money from people. Lose a few teeth, maybe, I don't know. So at the end of our first set, so we're gonna play for maybe an hour and 15 minutes for you guys tonight, maybe, we'll see how long. But the first half, the One World Suite has, I think, a very beautiful message, and we have some nice little message speaking between each of the songs, but we bring, and then the second set, we feature one of DC's local talent, legend saxophone players that we'll talk about. But we bring the music to you from our hearts, and we hope you enjoy it. And the best part is that there's a reception outside with food and drinks, so I think it's time to have a little libation, and then we'll come back, and the concert starts at about 50 minutes. No, about 40 minutes. Okay, 7:30. So we'll see you back here as harmonica. So remember, don't eat any of that food out there and then try the... Okay. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody.